everyone. It's Kati again from New Zealand, and yeah, it's time for another Awareness Monday. And yeah, there were a few breaks, and we're kind of like shifting at the moment into the busy time of the year, well, beautiful time of the year in the southern hemisphere at least. It's going to be summer soon and Christmas. But at the same time, that also means we're shifting into quite a busy time of the year. And yeah, that means we will have a little bit of a summer break coming up with these live videos, but even more important, to give you a little bit of a navigation system, as in energy healing and grounding tools to flow gracefully and in an easeful way through this busy time of the year. And that's what this topic today will be all about. So I'm going to talk about energy healing in general, what that actually means, because a lot of my offerings are about energy healing, one-on-one offerings as well as group offerings. So what is energy healing actually? And I want to go through some of my favorite tools for you to equip you with something for the busy holiday season. Yeah. But first of all, before we delve into the topic, I want to thank all of you who have been contributing to the community, to the Mind Your Karma community, either in person at the Mind Your Karma Retreat Center or virtually here on this platform, and supporting us and creating this community, co-creating and contributing your energy to this space. That's amazing. And even though there will be a little bit of a break coming up over the course of December and January, we will be back. I'll be back with these offerings and live streams and videos, and yeah, we will definitely keep co-creating this space to make it beautiful and nourishing and rich and beneficial for all of us, basically. Yeah, so my favorite energy healing tools. First of all, that opens up the question, why energy healing and what is energy healing? So a good way to connect with this topic, energy healing, is to look at the way we feel on a daily basis. And mainly our feelings become tangible to us through our body. So we feel certain sensations. Hello, Jenna. I'm just getting this beautiful hello from the beautiful lady Jenna. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so we do get these physical sensations. So our feelings become tangible and noticeable to us in the way, in a certain vibration, as a sensation, which is a vibration. And then we start translating those sensations, those physical cues, into what we call feelings. Yeah, we might be saying, I feel happy, or I feel joyful, or I feel overwhelmed, or I feel angry, or I feel lonely, I feel confused. So all of these labels, if you will, are our translations of vibrations that pulsate through our bodies, or become tangible through our bodies. And that's basically what is our energy. You know, and in different ancient cultures, you know, the yogic traditions, they talk about prana, which can be translated as life force. Here in New Zealand, we often hear the word Maori, yeah, which is also the idea of life force, life energy. Um, in the old Chinese traditions, they call it chi, which is again the same thing, life force. So that's what our energy is, and it's basically the source of everything. It's not our feelings or thoughts. Our energy, actually, the undercurrent is the vibrational undercurrent is our energy that then determines um, the landscape of our feelings on a daily basis, and the landscape of our thoughts on a daily basis. So why energy healing and what is this? It's basically any tool or approach or modality or attempt to um, to restore, to calm, or to activate, or to regenerate our energy system. Yeah, all those invisible lines that flow within us, through us, in a spiraling and elliptical way, and that keep us vital, and that keep us healthy, and that keep us clear and balanced and present. And you know, these are all very interesting words that I just used, because oftentimes many of us don't feel that way. Yeah, oftentimes when we actually check in with ourselves and we ask ourselves, how do we feel on a daily basis predominantly? Um, you know, probably words like, oftentimes I feel scattered, or not quite in the moment, I feel confused, or I'm lacking clarity or presence, you know, or I feel like you know, sometimes we say things, I feel like my energy feels like all over the show. And that's basically, you know, when modalities and tools like for energy healing become very essential and paramount, because we all know that we can with discipline and willpower, we can change our behavior. Yeah, we can decide to do certain things, or to not do certain things anymore. But this only goes so far, you know, and we know, I talked about that before in previous sessions. For example, when I talked about self-sabotaging behavior, um, the cause of that, the underlying cause of these behaviors, is always our energy, our vibration. Yeah, it's always a certain feeling, as in a vibration, that determines or impacts a certain behavior. So if we try to stop or perform a certain behavior, there will be an underlying current, yeah, that stream of energy, um, that will make it difficult for us to actually um, show or stop that certain behavior. So we can kind of like manage our behavior, and try to, you know, with willpower and discipline, control it. Uh, but to go directly to our energy actually is much more effective and profound, because if we manage to solve or clear the blockages in our energy system, then the change that we want to invite into our lives will be much more sustainable, because there will be no more hindrance or hurdle that holds us back to actually show and perform this behavior or whatever we want to, do in our lives. So energy healing tools is any tool that directly and or indirectly influences our energy lines, our energy centers. Sometimes these centers are called chakras in the yogic philosophies. They refer to as chakras. And then we have the energy lines, which are also sometimes called meridians. And it's a very complex system, and I won't be going into this here in this session. But there's definitely more than one energy line, or streams of energy and vibrational crossways and crossroads and pathways within us and also around us. So it's very complex, but at the same time it also follows a divine order. And any tool that directly or indirectly influences these lines and their interactions is basically what we call energy healing tools. And I want to just talk a little bit about some of my favorites that I do incorporate as well in my one-on-one sessions, in the counseling sessions, as well as in our group offerings at Mind Your Karma. So my list is not a complete list, of course, but for me there's five big groups or categories, more so, of energy healing tools that I really like using for myself and for the people I work with. And that is the first one are essential oils and flower essences. I'm going to explain a little bit more what they all are. I'm just going to name them to start with. The second one is body work, movement or embodiment type practices that that influence our chakras or meridians, our energy lines. The third one is sound healing, and using the vibrations of sound to influence our human energy system. The fourth one is the Reiki energy healing, or any tools that tap into using our hands to influence our human energy system. And the fifth one is what we call energy psychology, or otherwise known as meridian tapping. So I want to talk a little bit more about these, and then also go through a few concrete practical tools for you to take away from the session today. So with the essential oils, the first category, or essential oils and flower essences, so I predominantly use and like using essential oils. I just have two here. One is peppermint, I don't know if you can see it, and the other one is wild orange. So essential oils interact with our energy system in the way that they have, well, everything has a certain frequency and a certain vibration. Every living and non-living object basically has a certain vibration, and so does our human body. And different parts of our human body have different vibrations, and that can be actually measured in megahertz. So to start with, the essential oils, they have themselves a certain frequency that they have to offer. Yeah, so it's basically, we have that external substance, in that case the oil, and it has a message for us to offer. Yeah, and that message is a frequency, a certain frequency this oil, and in that example, the oil vibrates on. So if we expose ourselves to this message, this offering, our cells, our sensory system, yeah, the part of our brain that processes senses, yeah, our sensory data, will be activated, and it will send impulses or pulsations to our body, and our cells will go in resonance with, yeah, whatever frequency the oil is offering to us. Yeah, frequency as in whatever message this oil is offering to us. And there are different oils, of course, different essential oils available, and all of them have a different frequency. So the essential oil with the highest frequency that I know of is pure essential rose oil. So undiluted rose oil, which vibrates on a frequency of 320 megahertz, and that's a very high frequency. Our human body vibrates on average. It depends a little bit on age and, health, status of vitality, and all the rest of it. But our human body, on average, vibrates probably between 60 to 75 megahertz. Yeah, like I said, depending on age, also depending on the energy center and the region of the body. So say our human bodies vibrate on an average of 70, and then look at the oil, the pure essential rose oil, 320 megahertz. So this is quite a boost, basically. It's a support. It's a reminder for our own energy system. Yeah, being exposed to rose oil, for example, but it's not the only oil you can use. There's plenty oils. It's just an example. Being exposed to rose oil reminds our own energy system, and then also in the next step, our cells to start vibrating at a higher level. Yeah, so lavender oil, for example, which often is used for calming and grounding and centering, or for support with sleep, vibrates around 100 megahertz. So, these oils are basically not only smelling amazingly nice, they actually have a vibration, and a vibrational imprint, a message for us to offer. And then so that our own energy system can choose to match up, to up its own vibration and to go in resonance with this oil. The next category is, what I would call embodiment, or any type of body work, practice or treatment that taps into our energy system, that taps into, working with the meridian, the energy lines of our body, or even with practices like yoga, that directly tap into our chakras, our energy centers, basically those power points where a lot of energy lines come together, and exchange information and keep flowing. So a very beautiful example that I actually use for my own self-care in terms of body work and focusing on meridians is shiatsu. And shiatsu is a Japanese, comes from the traditional Chinese medicine lineage, but it's a Japanese acupressure massage that works with the 5 elements of the Chinese medicine, and incorporates principles of yin and yang, and balancing those different energies, and working with, yeah, sometimes too much fullness in our bodies, too much of something, and sometimes, and that can also happen at the same time, with too much emptiness in our bodies. So by actually focusing on the meridian lines, with actual human touch, acupressure, yeah, providing some pressure on certain parts of the body, um, we are activating those meridian lines, and it's a beautiful, gentle way to, um, yeah, reestablish vitality and balance and flow in our bodies, and it's very tangible. Um, and especially if you like, being touched, if you like massage and these types of tools, that might be a beautiful thing to do. So shiatsu, acupressure massage, and of course, any type of yoga. Um, a beautiful way, I want to just give you one tool here, and it's not shiatsu or yoga, it's an embodiment practice, um, which is easy to use for you, and it's a grounding tool, and it's basically just, you can use that when you feel scattered and all over the show, and confused or a bit ungrounded, basically. You can just tap firmly on your cheekbones, just on the edge of your cheekbone bones, and ideally you do that with your feet on the floor, with both feet on the floor. And what you're doing here, you're tapping on an acupressure point that is associated with the stomach meridian line. And stomach and spleen in Chinese medicine are allocated to the element earth. So it makes sense, earth, earthing, grounding, coming back to the earth. So you can try that. And you can do that maybe for 10 rounds of breathing. And really, if you like visualizing, you can even visualize how your own energy is flowing back into your body and becoming settled and grounded and centered. Yeah, so that's a very simple and tangible and easy to use tool. And you can almost use it everywhere. Maybe not when you're driving, when you need both hands. And then just check it out. And whenever you do tools like that, whenever you use practices like that, take a moment after you applied that tool and see how that feels. Notice how it feels. Notice how it feels in your body and what has changed. Another great tool, which is adapted from beautiful energy healer named Penny Green. And she's a fantastic lady. She has so many tools and so much wisdom. Well, she calls it flicking out energy, and I'm going to call it like that too. So that's a great tool to use when you kind of like triggered in an intense way. So, for example, something really big has happened and it has triggered you in a super huge way, and you feel angry and frustrated and overwhelmed, yeah? Or you maybe just feel overwhelmed by all the things that you have to do over the course of the day. So what's happening is, it's an embodiment. So we use our bodies actually to influence our energy system. So what you do is, I hope you can see me, we first kind of like energetically cut through the thickness of this energy that feels so stuck and intense and triggering. So I'm going to take a very strong, almost forceful inhalation, and, you know, make fists and pull them close to our body like this. And on the exhalation, we're flicking it out. So it's a forceful inhalation and cutting through the thickness and intensity, and through the mouth, it's flicking it out through our fingers and fingertips, and allowing the intensity of whatever feeling or trigger is happening in our energy system, and we're allowing it to leave our body and to, yeah, dissipate into the earth or dissolve, basically. And you would do that in a quicker pace a few times, you know, that creates heat. So it goes kind of like, and a good way to do that is to stand. Actually, I'm not standing here now because otherwise you wouldn't see me anymore. But to do it, maybe a good 10 to 20 rounds, and to really connect with that intention of I'm shaking this off, I'm flicking it out, and I'm, you know, allowing this overwhelm, this frustration, this anger to leave through my fingertips. And again, after a practice like that, you take a few moments and, yeah, and just allow yourself to feel what has changed in your energy. And then the third embodiment practice that I really like, and I like to do this also as a sequence, these embodiment energy exercises, is, well, first we did the grounding, yeah, calling our awareness, so to speak, our energy back to the earth, to the ground. Then we were flicking out whatever was bothering us, so to speak. And now we kind of like have space. We've created space, energetic space, to fill this up with, yeah, with an intention, with something that that we want to fill it up with, in an intentional and discerning way. So it's kind of like a practice, an embodiment practice, to call in whatever energy feels needed, supportive, and right and good. So what are you going to do is, I'm going to just stand up a little bit. You bringing the tops of your hands together, and then all the way just below your navel, your belly button, you go on the inhalation all the way up your center, the governing meridian line, all the way up, and then on the exhalation you just draw this circle around you. And that's kind of like a gesture, as if you literally filling yourself up, and on the exhalation you're surrounding yourself with whatever is needed. So that could, for example, be on the inhalation you're thinking love, and on the exhalation you're surrounding yourself with the vibration of love, like a bubble that you're creating around you. That could be on the inhalation, peace, and then on the exhalation you're surrounding yourself with the vibration of peace. That can be calm. On the inhalation, connecting with calm, and on the exhalation, connecting and surrounding yourself with calm. So you can do that with any quality, resource, or essence that is needed. That can be balance, joy, truth, light, courage, interest, you know, hope, anything that is really needed. Surrender, compassion. Okay, so the main thing really is that the tops of your hand touch, and then you kind of like touch your center line as you gliding up here, and then exhale. So these are 3 simple and very effective embodiment energy exercises. If you can't go to shiatsu every day or to massage, this is something you can do every day. And then I talked a little bit about sound healing. That's the 3rd category. So we talked about essential oils, and you can combine these, of course. You know, you can combine using your favorite essential oil and do the embodiment energy exercises to influence your energy system and to up your vibration, basically. And you can combine that and do the grounding and use a particular essential oil and infuse it as a support of that process. So we talked about essential oils, we talked about embodiment energy exercises, as in the exercises that I just showed you. And then, of course, also everything like shiatsu, like pressure massage, yoga, any embodiment practice that influences your energy system. We have also sound healing as a very powerful tool to influence our energy, our vibration, and the way we feel. In particular, my favorite tools are tuning forks, singing bowls, and the medicine drum. Because these 3 tools, and of course, I mean, they're different bowls, different forks, tuning forks, and different drums available, but they're very powerful, and they provide a very broad spectrum, basically, of influencing the vibrations in our bodies, in our energy system, and making profound changes, clearing blockages and hurdles, and just making the energy flow more effortlessly and easily. Then we have the 4th category I talked about, introduced in the beginning, the Reiki energy healing. And that's basically where we're using the power of our own fingers and fingertips to make changes, or to help our energy system to clear blockages. So our fingertips are actually electromagnetic, and you know, some people do use magnets to heal. You know, they use magnets for energy healing, but actually you can use your fingertips. The power, the healing lies also in your fingertips, in your very own fingertips, because they are electromagnetic, and they can sense energy, they can sense blockages and clockages and you know, hurdles, and they can also clear those blockages. So with the Reiki energy healing, the way it works is you either hovering over certain areas of the body, or you know, you can also touch, and it depends a little bit on the sensitivity, but also what is needed, really. So it's an intuitive process. And you're basically gently, again, like the oils do, like the sounds do, you're making an offering to whoever you're working with, and you could also even work with yourself. You can do self-Reiki on you, and it starts always with the power of intention, because intention has a certain frequency, it has a certain vibration, the intention to heal, the intention to provide holding, safe space, support. Yeah, so that's how it starts with, and then you are restoring and helping whoever you work with, either yourself or you know, the person you work with. You're kind of like communicating, you're going, your energy system and their energy system goes into a resonance, into communication, and hopefully into a resonance, yeah, where this other energy system is being asked or invited to up the vibration, to release some hurt, some blockages, so that the energy actually can start flowing again. And that's when the self-healing starts taking place. And last but not least, the fifth tool is that I introduced in the beginning is the energy psychology or meridian tapping, which, you know, which uses is similar to, you know, like tools like shiatsu. They would use acupressure points, certain points in our body, to tap on, to literally tap on, and then it's combined with messages that we say out loud to ourselves. And it's all about basically decomposing certain pathways in our brain that carry certain stories, old stories that don't serve us anymore, and breaking through that, allowing ourselves to feel whatever we feel around that story, and then repaving, yeah, renewing those stories and pathways, with more supportive and beneficial ones. So it's a very powerful tool, and I will very likely be talking about energy psychology, meridian tapping, sometimes also referred to as EFT, emotional freedom technique, more in future sessions. But all of these offerings, all of these 5 energy healing modalities, including the specific practical tools that I've given you today, so essential oils, or sometimes also flower essences, embodiment, energy exercises, sound healing, Reiki energy healing, and EFT or energy psychology, meridian tapping. All of these are very powerful tools, and you don't have to use all of them all at once, but you now know that they're available for you, and they can be combined in whatever way you feel suits. And they're definitely part of my offerings, the sound and energy healing journeys that we offer in groups, in my one-on-one work. They're always being incorporated because they are so powerful, and they just make a huge difference to the way we go through the day, the way I go through the day, the way I feel able to ground and center myself. And yeah, I really hope you will get more into tools like these, and I will, in the coming, you know, in the days to come, in the future, I will incorporate and introduce more of these in particular, and specifically some of those tools, so that you can learn more about that amazing and great tool of energy medicine, energy healing. But for now, yeah, I hope you got a little bit out, you know, you got your practical tools out of it, and use them, incorporate them for your own self-care, not only for the busy Christmas period, but for your life, for yourself. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful week, a beautiful holiday season, and we will provide some more information when we continue and how we continue very soon. Bye for now.